We've drawn on a lot of different people, yourself included, over those years, and that's why I wanted to come back to you specifically on the facts of the Trump org case. As you know, Sam, tons of talk out there. We go to people who've been involved or actually been at the scene. You know things that other people don't. And so I'm curious, when you see James say that it was pattern and practice for Donald Trump, Weisselberg, and the Trump org to mislead, misvalue, or outright lie about assets, does that strike you as credible, as possible, as something that fits with your experience, or not?
Well, I don't have the experience into his financials. I was around the office, obviously, for 6 years or so. What I would say is it was very strange to me that she didn't seek injunctive relief on this. You know, she could have brought the civil suit and said he's no longer allowed to, or temporarily, try to postpone him from doing any business. In terms of what she said about that pattern, look, we could go. I've been with Donald when he's told me that he's worth $4 billion. He's told me he's worth $10 billion. When I worked for him, we said at the beginning of when he announced for presidency in June of 2015, we first said he was worth around 8.6. And then suddenly, unbeknownst to me, a press release was released weeks later saying, no, I'm worth 10 billion. I don't know if there's actually a victim here. I mean, that's been a lot of criticism that I've been hearing in my circles is he has paid back those loans. And the idea that she had to bring this, less than 90 days from the election, it doesn't necessarily show that she was working on a fair ground, at least to people like me. But with that said, did he inflate assets? I have no firsthand knowledge, but I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. Couple things. I mean, the timing is a product of also many of the delays that were on the Trump org side. He had to be held in civil contempt, as you know, to even go in and then plead the fifth. So while I think it's a fair question to raise anytime you have a high-priority, high-profile case like this, whether the timing is somehow being misused, if they could show evidence of that, that would be bad. But at this juncture, they dragged it out as well. As for the inflation of assets, I mean, it's very interesting to hear you say that. Your experience, again, we're not talking about only the Trump org, but unlike, say, someone who was always consistent about numbers, your experience was even on big numbers you might remember, like are you worth 8B or 10B, you're saying he would just move around.
Yes, he would move around. And we had worked on that statement that he released before he ran. That went through the office. Obviously, it wasn't an FEC statement, but It was something he released in his announcement. And then he decided to release a press release saying that he was worth another 1.6 billion in less than 3 weeks. But I think really the issue is that for his ultimate goal, if it is to get back into the Oval Office, Ari, there's a major difference for him politically when he's in the Oval Office, when he's the president, and there's an independent counsel against him. There's an impeachment by the Democrats. Yes, Republicans will feel that they are being attacked as well. But there's a deteriorating effect in terms of the affection that voters are going to have for him vis-a-vis when he's out of office and he's consistently under investigation. There's a possible criminal indictments coming. It makes him less of an appealing candidate during a primary. And I do believe that it's getting to a point.
You're talking about a different factor where, I mean, that's why they wanted the idea that Hillary was under a single FBI investigation. The idea shared by most political practitioners across the spectrum was it's bad for you as a candidate. He's under several. So to your point, you think that actually wounds him if he runs in a Republican primary?
Yeah, I certainly do. Well, depending on what happens, I'm talking to you from West Palm Beach. I think Governor DeSantis is going to have quite a large victory. It seems to me that his opponent is at a floor and obviously doesn't have anything of the money compared to DeSantis has. And that's really the shiny object. I mean, these things happen naturally. Donald Trump's trying to run a third time for the presidential office. It's just a natural progression. Plus, I remember the days when we used to criticize the last candidate, the last nominee that lost. He lost to Biden. No matter what other people think about it.
Right. Romney wasn't exactly embraced by everybody. I'm only jumping in. I got 30 seconds, Sam. You mentioned being in Florida. DeSantis, you were with Trump in 2015. He was underestimated. He did get the nom and then the Electoral College. Do you think DeSantis could actually be the nominee?
DeSantis is going to be the favorite. I think that you're going to see a victory here of, anywhere from 5 to 10 points. Donald Trump, if he declares, I'm not so sure that he will, he'll declare early 2023. His campaign will stall, and DeSantis could probably come in next summer. I was just in Iowa, Ari, and a lot of rank and file voters, the ones that caucus for Ted Cruz, they're behind DeSantis.
Really interesting. Sam Nunberg, thank you.